Now, I want to, obviously, Kane and Damo are on satellite. We've got the boys here. There are some serious topics to talk about, Damo. One of those being, of course, the Richmond boys, who absolutely stuffed it up big time through the week. Just what is the very latest with those two?
Yeah, Sydney Stack and Callum Coleman-Jones, the two players, TJ, and it came at the end of a pretty awkward week for the AFL with the comments made earlier in the week by Josh Frydenberg and that drone you showed footage of before also causing some tension amongst the ranks. That's the vision of those two players getting caught in a fight outside of a kebab shop, Bill, in Surfers Paradise. Yep. They'd been to a strip club prior to that. And I think if you were to envision the AFL officials maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago highlighting the potential worst-case scenario for player behaviour, I reckon that's in the top 2 or 3 scenarios that they would have played out the way they did. And as you know, TJ, 10-match ban for both players. That will stretch into 2021, a $100,000 fine. That comes off the self-cap for next year for the Tigers. And also, too, the need and the now simmering stoush over the possibilities of who pays this fine, and we'll get to that in a few moments' time.
Well, I just want to throw it up, and I did so on Friday. I would have sacked them because... Totally. Can I tell you? Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Because, Bill, if that was you on the Gold Coast, if Channel 9 had sent you up there, there would be no second chances, my friend. It would be instant. If it was me, it would be instant dismissal. If you work for a bank and you've been sent up there, then you would be dismissed, all right? What gets me is people have lost their jobs in the AFL and at Richmond, right? These two blokes, along with their teammates, are in a privileged position whereby they can go and kick a football and get paid well for it. And they still can't abide by the rules which have been set out. There should be no second chances. They should be sacked.
Is it any different, TJ, to... Well, I want to ask if it's any different to Still Sidebottom, and you weren't as strong on him. I know you're a Collingwood man and he's a star player and he's a vice-captain. But I think that is a strong comment considering you weren't as harsh on Still with his indiscretion. Well, no,
that's such an easy counter-argument, Kane, all right? But I'm basing this on this case alone. On this case alone, right? On the back of what the clubs have been told time and time again because of the Steel Sidebottoms of this world, OK? They should have known. You do not put yourself in the position that they put themselves in. I mean, we're talking about outside a strip club, kebab, 3:30 in the morning, whatever it is, getting into a fight. I mean, as cliches go for knuckleheads, it doesn't get any better than that. So don't throw up the Steel. I'm not Eddie, all right? So I couldn't give a tinker's cuss about Collingwood or Steel Sidebottom. What I'm saying is, on this particular case, with this particular incident, they should be sacked.
And just on that, TJ, obviously the CEO, Kane, of the Richmond Tigers, Brendan Gale, spoke out, and you hear in his voice how embarrassed they are as a football club.
Yeah, disbelief, anger, bewilderment, that the players knew the protocols. I mean, they've been drummed into the players consistently, and that notwithstanding that, they would choose to act in breach of the protocols. I think it's probably fair to say, probably anger. They'll learn from it, but we need to put our arm around them and we need to help them regain the trust and respect of our football club and the community.
Significant words there from Brendan Gale, trust and respect, and he did concede quite openly in that press conference that the club had lost both in the eyes of many people in football. We can see there the statement that they've released themselves and that the $75,000 plus the $25,000 from the previous infringement. Now, what that means now, TJ and guys, is that if they have a third strike as a football club, that they will have premiership points and draft picks removed. That's how delicate this club is right now. And the actual payment of these fines, it was mooted in that press conference by Brendan Gale, but the players themselves would be required to foot the bill. Paul Marsh, the boss of the Players Association, is having none of it. And Gillan McLaughlin has said it's a club matter.
A fine that's not available to be given to the players in the first place. It's between the AFL and the clubs, so it took us by surprise last night.
We were clear with it when we changed. We put in these strict liability protocols that these are accountabilities. That obviously there's some for the players with the suspensions, and the financial sanctions are on the club. Now they can make their own decisions and deal with the players, and that clearly there's some stuff to work out there. But that's for the club to deal with the individuals, and obviously they have to deal with the Players Association.
It is a significant stoush looming here because the way I'm reading it inside this quarantine hub, where both Paul Marsh and Brendan Gale are residing as part of the 14 days quarantining requirement, it's going to be a fight that they're both going to have. Paul Marsh as recently as last night said that he would not be allowing the players to pay those fines. It's not part of the collective bargaining agreement. And we just saw there the statements made by the manager of Sydney Stack in Paul Pios that he is not having a bar of that either.
So where does it all sit then, Kane? I mean, because what's happening here is, well, these two blokes will go off their respective homes. They've left an absolute minefield for the Players Association, for the AFL and for Richmond to wade through.
Absolutely, TJ, and I like the broader discussion about what is going on at Richmond. So this is a club that has had success, that have been so strong culturally. Now I just think the success has almost gone to their head, as simplistic as that sounds. I think there's definitely a sense of entitlement, a sense of arrogance about that club at the moment, from the comments that Damien Hardwick made about John Longmire and his coaching earlier on in the year, to tweets sent out by Jack Revolt, to hub demands that have been well publicised, to the groping indiscretion. So the best clubs, the ones that I admire the most, are those dynasties that went about their work so humbly, like Geelong and like Hawthorn of this era. That's not what can be associated with Richmond at the moment.
But what I would say, Kane, is yes, they have all those indiscretions, and it'll play out to see how well they play the rest of the season, but it hasn't affected their on-field play. Their on-field play, putting aside all the indiscretions, the on-field play hasn't been affected so far. This might affect them, but at the moment, they've been pretty good at putting everything behind them and playing great football.
And that's a good point, Brownie, and we'll wait and see if it does affect them. I think it's a little chink in their armour, and every time they're now going to face the media and we're going to talk about it and Footy Show is going to be talking about it, it does become tiresome. And as Lordo's alluded to previously, they're hard to win. Premierships are hard to win, particularly back-to-back. You need everything going right for you, and right now it's not.
Hey, Damo, can I ask you, why was it reported that Trent Cotchin would be paying that fine when we're hearing now that, that Paul Marsh has said that it was a club, an AFL decision that they would pay the fine? So while we were hearing that, and has Trent actually paid that fine at all?
I've asked that same question, Lordo. I wasn't able to be given a categoric answer as to whether he actually has. But the difference there is that Trent, in the end, has volunteered both privately and publicly to do so. You can see through the agent of Sydney Stack, and he's officially still listed as a rookie on the Richmond Footy Club list. And you obviously know that the wage attached to his performance on that list is clearly significantly less than Trent Cotchin. I think that's the reason it comes down to. And look, the loss of $100,000 out of next year's soft cap already, again, it's a story that means it goes into next year as well. We know that the soft cap for each club is going to be reduced from a $9.6 million total to a $6.2 million total as of next year. Take $100,000 out of that for Richmond already. It's at least one job and maybe two or three jobs that this instant indiscretion has cost that particular football club before next season even starts.
Bill, maybe Stack and Coleman-Jones should sit in the room and deliver the message to that staff member that might lose their job. Yeah. That could be the hardest thing they have to do.
Well, the thing that hurts the players the most is if you lose premiership points. You can fine them, it doesn't really hurt them too much. You can, suspend them for 10 weeks, but that doesn't. But if you say, righto, Richmond lose 4 points, because you're a team, The other thing is, I don't know how you can actually just sack them, Tony, because they're good players. Sydney Stack's going to be a good player. So that comes into it.
You don't sack them because they're good players?
Well, that comes into it, my friend.
Shouldn't matter.
I know, but it will come into it.
Good players
I understand that. Yeah, but you're not condoning that.
No, look, he stuffed up. There's no doubt about it.
They both did.
They both did, yeah. What I didn't mind from Sydney Stack...
But based on who they are and their profiles at the moment, are you happy for them not to be sacked?
No, I don't. I think that's the worst decision you can do. That's a big call, sacking a player.
I think they've got value to Richmond, so I don't think they're going to sack them.
It shouldn't matter.
I know, but it does.
As I said,
it always matters. It's
no, it shouldn't, because, mate, I would like to think I provide value for this company. But if that was me on the Gold Coast, doing what they did, they would sack me.
No, because you're very important to this network, believe it or not.
It wouldn't matter, mate. They would sack me.
No, I don't know.
They would. Yeah. I'm not going to test it.
But again, you wouldn't do that.
What I didn't mind, Sydney Stack, he stuffed up, he's put up his hand, and this was at the airport. There's no script here. He come out and said this. Normally there's a script and you've got the PR people there telling him what to say and what to do, but Sydney Stack here at the airport, this wasn't bad.
I just want to apologise to my teammates, mainly the club, family and supporters back at home. It was very immature of me of what I've done. I wanted to say sorry to the AFL as well for putting the game at risk, and my actions were very out of line with me, and something I'd never do again.
Yeah, so that was Sydney Stack. Channel 10 caught up with him at Adelaide Airport. I have no doubt that they are very, very remorseful, as you would be, because they've been thrust into national headlines.